Alright everyone, how are you doing? I'm Unruly, and welcome back to Unruly Horror. And welcome to this month's video of the horror films I bought this month, October 2021. Sorry about that. Now, I did what I did last month, this month again. Got 4 Blu-rays and 4 DVDs. I kinda like doing this, I like getting the 4 and 4, you know, building my Blu-ray collection. It's coming along nicely, I like it. I'm probably going to stick to it by this format, 4 and 4 each month, unless something changes. And as you can see, back in the kitchen, and it's not 1 o'clock in the morning, which I've been doing my last previous videos, like 1 o'clock in the morning in my bedroom, for the light control. It's not too sunny today, so the lighting on point. And yeah, let's get to the videos. Have I seen any of these? I've seen 1, 2, 3. I've seen 3 of the 8, and I'll tell you them. Anyway, let's get into it. I'll start with the Blu-rays. First up, One Missed Call. Now, One Missed Call, I believe, is the American remake of the, is a Japanese original. People get a voicemail and it's them dying or being murdered or whatever, and they need to figure out what's happening. Remind me, I need to do a video on my feelings of American horror remakes of international horror films, because there's a lot of them. Like Quarantine is the most famous one, I think, for doing rec. And recently there's the one, I don't know what it's called, but it's the remake of #Alive. I think it's called, like, I can't remember. Anyway, One Missed Call, I haven't seen this one. It sounds good, and immediately I want that to be in the film. That is creepy, and I love it. Like, it sounds good, but with the thing with horror, with like American remakes of foreign films, it can get a bit too Hollywood, if you know what I mean. A bit too flashy. Takes away from the elements that made the original one good. Anyway, put you over there. Next up is Frankenstein. Apparently in 2D and 3D as well. Even though you only get like 1 Blu-ray. I haven't seen this one. I think I've heard of it. Yeah, I've definitely heard of the Underworld, and well, you see that all the time, don't you? From the producers of some big action Hollywood film. So it's 200 years after his shocking creation, Dr. Frankenstein's creature, Adam. I thought it was just called the monster. Wakes up, still on Earth, finds himself in the middle of a war over the fate of humanity. And he has the key that could... He's meant to be Frankenstein's monster. Have they watched the original Frankenstein films? It sounds good. It sounds like it's going to be CGI, you know, one of those CGI heavy films. Big budget. Anyway, the art looks good on it. You know, should be an interesting watch. I don't have high hopes for it, to be fair. I can't watch in 3D. I don't have the technology for that. Okay. Next up is a film I have seen. The Hole. Now, I went to the cinema to watch this. I was in school. 2009 was it? Did you tell me? 2009. I seen this in 3D. You got the first ever 3D film, the glasses and everything. In some of the shots, you can get, you know, they did it for 3D purposes, like the nails and everything. It was also my first ever horror-ish, because it's kind of a horror. It's a horror film. It's kind of a mild horror film though. It's my first ever horror film I watched in the cinema. Back when I was, what was it? 2009. I would have been about 13, 14. No, I would have been 13. What am I on about? I was 13. Luckily, it's a 12. I liked it. It's about the hole. They find, move in. There's a hole. It turns out that hole manifests your greatest fear that will kill you. Like, for example, Luke. Is it Lucas? Lucas, the youngest one's the clown fear. The oldest one's scared of the dad. She, what's her name? Julie is scared of the best friend who died in front of her eyes. It's mad. It's crazy. It's a good story. I liked it when I watched it. And, yeah. Kind of weird when they go inside the hole, but anyway, it's worth the watch. That's why I've got it again on Blu-ray. Next up is a film I've watched the trailer for about 100 times, because on the films I was buying, it's normally, like the old ones, it's the Stakeland, not the vampire one. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer. I must have seen the trailer 100 times, because it's featured on a lot of horror films, especially the DVDs from the early 2000s. 2010s. Sorry. So my voice is going already. So prepare for an adrenaline-fueled journey through the ravaged states and lockdown of a fallen America, a ruined nation where humans have become prey for feral monsters in right-wing militarist rule. God damn, that's the USA right now. Nick Damici as a grizzled vampire hunter in Connor Palos as Charge. What I've seen of the trailer and what I've read, it looks like it's going to be a more action thriller kind of thing. I could be wrong, but the thing I remember from the trailer is they open a cupboard, a bedside table cupboard, and there's a woman, and you think she's dead, but then she opens eyes. I could be mistaking it, but I think that's the film. That's the Blu-rays done. Onto the DVDs. Right, I know which ones I want to do, so... Okay. First up, we have The Entity. Now, The Entity was released in 1982, and I watched this the other day for the first time after hearing a load about it from me uncle and me mum who watched it years ago. And it's based on a true story, which is scary once you find out what the film's about. It's about Carla Moran, who gets haunted by what's meant to be as a poltergeist. It just has a spirit. It doesn't really go into it. That, due to YouTube, I can't say, but it violates her over and over and over again. In the special effects, when I read up how they did it, fantastic. Because there's a point in the movie where she has nothing on and she's lying on the bed, and her area is getting, you can see it moving and going in and out, and I want to know how the hell did they do that, because I don't think they had green screen back then. Well, they did, but it wasn't good. Turns out they did the whole false body trick. So they cut a hole in the bed, she goes in, neck sticking out, and they made a latex version. Managed to you can't see the joint. And they used air, suction, to manipulate it, and for 1982, that's impressive. Yeah, the effects are fantastic. They wanted to do all mainly practical, which I think they did. Yeah, I can imagine this terrifying a lot of people when it came out, especially at the end when it says it's based on a true story, which you read up and yeah, it actually happened. Definitely worth a watch this Halloween, like watch on Halloween. Put you there. Okay. Next up is a film that I think's okay. It's a classic. It made me scared to watch it. I've had it before, but so would it. The Exorcist. Now, when I ordered I didn't know I was going to get this cover. I love this artwork. This artwork is fantastic because it's so much different to like the DVD cover itself, which is just normal. But the Halloween, I love it, love it. I heard so much about this film growing up. I heard so much about it, about how it was the scariest film ever made, how people were vomiting, were passing out in the theatres going to see it. And honestly, that kind of hype, it's the kind of hype that Paranormal Activity got. That kind of hype made me not want to watch it. Like, even when you hear the fact that it didn't get a home video release until like 1992, when it came out in 1973. Yeah, that kind of hype is going to make you think, I don't want to watch this. And I bought it originally in October 2015, and I didn't watch it until November because I was scared of it. And it was my mum who one night says, let's scare ourselves and put The Exorcist on, because she hadn't watched it either, but she had heard it. She was 13 when this came out, and I was all ready for like going, okay, let's scare ourselves. And about 40 minutes later, I'm thinking, when's the action going to start? Turns out all the good bits that they hype up, that they say the film's full of, is literally the last 20 minutes. You know, the head spinning. I get the build up, but when you've for years have had all this hype and you finally watch it and it's not the film you think it's going to be. So I was disappointed with it. I didn't like it, but I've watched it again, and I'm like, okay, I go in knowing what's going to happen, not having any hype for it, and you look at the story's actually good. It's a good film for its era. I can see why it was controversial, and it's meant to be cursed because of all the accidents that happened. What can I say? It's a classic. Watch it. It's not as scary as people think it is, but it's good effects, and it was well made, and the director, William Friedkin, was a bit harsh, but I think he did a good job on it. Right. Okay, these next two films are adding on to like franchises I'm building up. So next up we've got, sorry about that, the post came. Okay, next up, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. I got Friday 1 all to 5, and I'm nearing the end. I think I've got about 4 or 5 films left, then I've got the entire lot. So as you know, in the final chapter they killed Jason off, and in Part 5, A New Beginning, they tried to introduce a human killer, not like Jason, but like a different person other than Jason, and that's why Roy Burns was the killer. And people didn't like that because they wanted the main man. And yeah, so after seeing the poor reviews of Part 5, Part 6, they had to bring him back. They just had to. It's a good film, I will say that. It continues the Tommy Jarvis storyline, which is fantastic. This is the film where Jason becomes more of a supernatural being, because he's like kind of a zombie now. yeah, I would say it's worth the watch. Because I prefer Jason. Part 5's okay, but just it's not Jason, and that kind of takes away from, the aspect of it. Anyway, and last is Halloween H2O. I'm very close now to completing the Halloween series. Like, I've got Halloween H2O, I've got Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween 6. This Halloween H2O, all I need is Halloween Resurrection and Rob Zombie's Halloween, and that's it. I've got all the Halloween films. And well, until Halloween Kills comes out on DVD. What do I think of this? This one starts another new timeline for the series. Like, I was going to try to memorise all the timelines off the top of my head, but I can't. I think this goes Halloween, Halloween 2, and then Halloween H2O. I think that's the timeline for this. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it's got the classic, that shot. Everybody knows that shot. It's got Jamie Lee's mum in, Janet Leigh. It's about Jamie working as a teacher in a private school where her son is. No daughter this time, son. And no, I'm missing a film on the timeline on her. I don't know, honestly. Those timelines are messed up. And Halloween, like, Michael comes, gets them, hunts the kids down, and then hunts her down. I like what they did. I like the changing of the setting. It's not a street, it's a school, private school, and I like that change of setting. It brings a bit new life into the franchise, but at the same time, it's just a Halloween film, isn't it? It's Michael going around killing people. I would say next up, Halloween Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection is the weakest in the series, I will say that, but I'll get to that next month. Anyway guys, that is what I bought this month. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see here, I do loads of horror stuff. I do horror reactions, I do horror reviews, ranking videos, and of course, what I buy every month. So if you enjoy stuff like that, please hit subscribe. Thank you very much. I've been Unruly. Have a nice day.